Its ravages were fiercest in the greater towns, where filthy and undrained streets afforded a constant haunt to leprosy and fever. In the burial ground which the piety of Sir Walter Manny purchased for the citizens of London, a spot whose site was afterwards marked by the Charterhouse, more than 50,000 corpses are said to have been interred. Thousands of people perished at Norwich, while in Bristol the living were hardly able to bury the dead. But the Black Death fell on the villages almost as fiercely as on the towns. More than one half of the priests of Yorkshire are known to have perished. In the Diocese of Norwich, 2/3 of the parishes changed their incumbents. The whole organisation of labour was thrown out of gear. The scarcity of hands made it difficult for the minor tenants to perform the services due for their land, and only a temporary abandonment of half the rent by the landowners induced the farmers to refrain from the abandonment of their farms. For a time cultivation became impossible. The sheep and cattle strayed through the fields and corn, and there were none left who could drive them. A new revolt against the whole system of social inequality, which had then passed unquestioned as the divine order of the world. The cry of the poor found a terrible utterance in the words of a mad priest in Kent, as the courtly Froissart calls him, who for 20 years found audience for his sermons, in defiance of interdict and imprisonment, and the stout yeomen who gathered in the Kentish churchyards, mad, as the landowners called them. It was then the preaching of John Ball that England first listened to the Declaration of Natural Equality and the Rights of Man. Good people, things will never go well in England so long as goods be not in common, and so long as there are villains and gentlemen. By what right are they whom we call lords greater folk than we? On what grounds have they deserved it? Why do they hold us in serfage? If we all came to the same father and mother, and of Adam and Eve, how can they prove that they are better than we, if it be not that they make us gain for them by our toil and what they spend in their pride? They are clothed in velvet and warm in their furs, while we are covered with rags. They have wine and spices and fair bread, and we have oatcake and straw. They have leisure and fine houses, we have pain and labour, the rain and the wind in the fields. And yet it is of us and of our toil that these men hold their state, a spirit fatal to the whole system of the Middle Ages breathed in the popular rhyme, which condensed the levelling doctrine of John Ball. When Adam delved and Eve span, who was then the gentleman?